Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Price is higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Red flags can be hard to see when you're in it. You're hopeful, the connection's strong, and you tell yourself it's fine and you brush it off. And before you know it, things are messy and you're wondering why you didn't end it sooner. In this episode, I'm unpacking 4 dating dilemmas that'll help you spot red flags before you get too attached. Welcome back to Dating Intentionally. I'm Talia. I'm sharing no-nonsense advice for navigating dating and relationships with confidence and ease. Whether you've been dating for a while or you're just getting started, I believe dating can be fun. And it's going to be more fun for you if you learn to spot the red flags early and actually respond to them instead of trying to make excuses for them. So yeah, like I said, today we're getting into 4 dating dilemmas. And while I was putting this episode together, I noticed the 4 that I chose for this one all had different kinds of red flags. So we're going to get into that. As a reminder, you can watch this episode and more on YouTube. My channel is called Dating Intentionally. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, hi, thank you for being here. I also love hearing from you in the comments on Spotify. So if you're listening there, especially for this one, because I want your takes on these dating dilemmas. And as always, you can slide into my DMs anytime on Instagram at dating.intentionally. Finally, you can submit your own dating dilemmas for me to share my advice and thoughts on in the show notes. There is a link there that says submit a question. So that is there for you in any episode you listen to. You can always submit a question. It's anonymous and we love hearing from you. We love being able to relate to what you're going through and help each other out. So can you think of a time where you either saw red flags and ignored them, or maybe you were more aware of them in hindsight? I just want to say up front, it's hard to see them when you're in it sometimes, especially if there are other positive things in the mix, like a high level of attraction or compatibility, or they're perfect on paper, or you just haven't felt that way about someone in a long time. But when you hear these dilemmas, you're probably going to notice the red flags right away. And I hope that by sharing these, you can notice them earlier when you see them in your own dating experiences. It's always easier to spot them when you're hearing someone else's story, but I want you to notice them in your story. This first one I'm calling red flags at first sight. I, 39 female, matched with a 39-year-old male on Bumble. His profile said fun and casual dates. Mine was set to looking for a relationship. I thought I'll have some fun since he was my type. We chatted a bit and he said he's recently separated, a 5-year-old kid, still in the same home but on alternate travel schedules with minimal overlap. He was very clear he is not ready for commitment. We have an extremely strong connection, same values, communicate well, and we spent 3 months dating, getting to know each other, and we act like we're in a relationship. We have 1 to 2 dates a week, and we started sleepovers 2 months in when he got his new place. But we admit to each other that we know it's not a relationship. All of a sudden, his ex-father-in-law is in town, and that snapped him into the reality of not being healed enough to date. We had many conversations on commitment, so it was not a surprise, but now he's ending it. He said he's scared to bring his trauma into a new relationship. I will accept it and move on, but I'm really sad about it. What are your thoughts on this situation from the start and afterwards? I was prepared to wait 6 months before wanting to move forward, so I could also see if his situation suits me, but it seems like he's cutting it off sooner. Thank you so much for submitting this, and it's relatable. And yeah, it sucks when something is going full steam ahead and then suddenly someone kind of snaps out of it and they kind of do a 180 on you. There are a few red flags in this one, but there is one kind of major one, the primary one that I can point out. I'm wondering if you can point out as well. Let me know in the comments. I think the main red flag here is that he came into this connection saying he was casual, saying he wasn't looking for a commitment. He wasn't ready. He was obviously still probably going through a divorce. At the time you met, he was still living with his ex. Seems like he moved out, which is great. But he said up front, he doesn't want commitment. And you did. You didn't say you wanted commitment, but I assume since you've had your profile set to relationship and just the way the story played out, that you were looking for long term and he wasn't. So the advice here that I think really works if you're dating intentionally is if you're looking for commitment, the second you hear that someone isn't ready, you need to stop seeing them. Even if they're your type, Even if you connect, even if you align on values, it's not going to go very far if you don't want the same kind of relationship. And there's nothing wrong with wanting casual. I am not here to shit on anyone wanting casual. I have a whole episode on how to navigate that. But it's just that if you get into a connection or relationship with someone where your intentions aren't aligned, that's going to turn into a situationship because it can't move forward. He wants casual and he's not ready to commit. You want to commit. How are you going to get on the same page? You probably won't. I understand that you had a 6-month time limit on this, but I guess it's a good thing. Like you said, you'll give it 6 months. But in the future, I wouldn't do this because if you had actually gone 6 months dating this guy, knowing that he wasn't ready to commit, your feelings would have been stronger for him. And this would have been way harder. Like, I'm glad that it ended 3 months and not 6 months or longer, into it. So I want you to learn that connection isn't enough. You need to be aligned on the same relationship goals for it to actually work. Otherwise, it's going to end up like this. So the red flag here is this guy told you exactly what his deal was. And I know it sounds harsh, but you chose to either not take that seriously or lean into the hope that he would change along the way, which really rarely works. And I know how hard it is when you've been dating for a while, especially in your late 30s and beyond, even younger, when you finally find someone that you click with and it just doesn't work. I know how frustrating that is. But you need to act from that higher version of yourself that knows the bigger picture of what you want and how important it is for you to align with someone on those goals. I hope this helps. Again, let me know what you think in the comments, what you would have done, if anything different, share below. And if you're not listening on Spotify or YouTube, you can DM me on Instagram at dating.intentionally. All right, let's do another one. This one I'm calling Red Flags You Get Used to. I'm a female, 34, and I met my partner, 42 male, on Tinder 3 years ago. We're both career driven, but since last year, he's been in a job that requires constant travel. Because of that, he values his weekends alone, and we usually meet on weekdays. I'm typically the one who initiates more. He doesn't like phone calls and often plans last minute. When I ask to meet and he's busy, he feels pressure and tends to pull away rather than explain what's going on. We've had an on and off relationship for 3 years. He often says his travel schedule makes it hard to be consistent, and we've never met each other's friends or families. And while he does make an effort for things like birthdays, he can be distant otherwise. Earlier this year, after our first overnight trip, he broke up with me over text, saying he couldn't continue and that I should focus my energy elsewhere. We didn't talk for a month, then started texting again. A few months later, we met for brunch, then again for his birthday, and the night after, we had dinner and slept together. He told me he hasn't been with anyone else, though he re-downloaded Tinder, quote, out of boredom. It's been a week since that night, and I'm sure what it meant, if it was casual or if it was a sign of reconnection. He still hasn't refollowed me on Instagram since our breakup and is about to travel again. This cycle has been going on for 3 years. And although I really like or even love him, how do I know what he is thinking or feeling and if we're able to align, or if I'm wasting time and I should ask for clarity and move on? Wow. Okay, so just to recap, you met this guy in his 40s on Tinder. You've been on and off for 3 years. He travels a lot for work. He broke up with you over text after doing an overnight trip. Then a month later, you reconnected, hung out for his birthday, slept together. Now you don't know what's going on. He downloaded Tinder. Damn. So this is a hell of a situationship you're in. Yeah, there's a lot of red flags here. So I call this one the red flags you get used to, because I'm sure that there are red flags from the beginning that just kind of turn into the furniture of your relationship. You forget they're there. You kind of are like, they just blend into everything else. This is a trap that I think a lot of people fall into. It becomes normalized. Like whatever you're dealing with just becomes normal in your relationship. You're like, yeah, it's totally normal that he never sees me on weekends and we haven't met each other's friends and families. But clearly, you know that's a red flag. So to answer your question, obviously, I'm going to say move on. There's no way this is going to become the relationship that you deserve and that you want. It's been 3 years. You've seen more than enough. And I'm holding your hand when I say this, and I'm sure everyone listening probably agrees with me. You need to cut this guy off because everything you're describing, it's like, and I know this sounds harsh, but you're allowing it to happen. It's not your fault, but you're also not standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, being like, no, I'm not going to stand for this type of treatment. No, I will not continue talking to someone who thinks it's okay to break up with me over text. No, I will not continue seeing someone for 3 years who I haven't met any of their friends and families. Like, You need to have a higher standard for yourself so that you can pull yourself out of these situations. I know you want closure and clarity, but you have all the clarity you need right here. Here are the facts. He doesn't prioritize time with you. It's hard to see him in general because of his job. You've never met each other's people. He broke up with you over text. He got back on Tinder, and you've been in the cycle for 3 years of your life. I think we all know what he's thinking, right? When you say you want to know what he's thinking, he's not willing, ready, or able to commit. That's it, period. Maybe he knows that, maybe he doesn't, but that's what his actions say. And that's really what we have to pay attention to, his actions. Consider that by this point, you know for a fact that you are not able to align. This isn't like a can we work it out? Can we work on it? Can we get better, improve? No, it doesn't have to be this hard. And I'm telling you, a healthy, secure relationship that both people value and want to be in is easy in some ways. With a better match for you, like with someone who's actually interested in a relationship, you wouldn't be dealing with 99% of the stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. Of course, you will still have some of that in a healthy relationship because of prior attachment wounds, but you're not going to have the situation where it's like, are we going to meet each other's people? Are we ever going to hang out on weekends? Am I one day going to wake up to a text that he is broken up with me? Like that doesn't happen in healthy relationships. So I'm saying no, move on, ask for clarity, text him, call him, say, I don't want to be in contact anymore, and block him. I'm not trying to blame you here. Obviously, like he has a huge part in this. But your part, again, like I said, is that you allowed this to go on. You didn't close the door earlier. And that's something that's within your control. We can't control what he's doing. That's why I'm saying, like, you can close the door on this. And you still have a chance. You still have a chance to do that. So do it. I hope you're listening to this right now because this is a sign to work on your self-worth, to work on healing your wounds, because you really deserve so much more than what this guy has to give. And back to the red flag theme here, it's like there are probably so many red flags in this dynamic and relationship that they just, like I said earlier, they blend into everything else. And you're like, well, this is just how it is. This is where settling happens. This is where we're like, well, if I want to be with this person, I have to put up with all this shit. And that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be like that, though. And I really encourage you to walk away from situations that don't serve you. And instead of trying to shrink yourself so that you can feel like it's serving you even though you know it's not. Thank you for setting that in. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, I want to know your take on the situation, what you think she should do. If you've ever been in this situation, what you have done, let us know. And we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with 2 more. What I love about doing this show is that I get to introduce listeners to all these different ways to get support in their dating journeys. And one of the main ways is therapy. You've probably heard me talk about how working with a therapist for the last 7 or 8 years has helped me improve not just my romantic relationship, but my friendships and my family relationships too. The hard part is finding a therapist that actually works with your insurance. Having done it a few times, I can tell you from experience, it's harder than it sounds. That's why I'm so excited to partner with Rula, a healthcare company that makes getting quality therapy simple and affordable. Rula works with most major insurance plans, and sessions can cost as little as $15, sometimes even $0, depending on your coverage. This is huge. If you've ever worked with a therapist, you know sometimes the cost can be astronomical, and I love that Rula makes it easier on your wallet. Finding a therapist on your own can be overwhelming, but Rula supports you every step of the way, helping you find the right therapist, stay consistent, and actually make progress. They have a network of over 15,000 licensed therapists and psychiatrists across the country, and they'll match you with someone who fits your needs and preferences. You can start meeting with your therapist as soon as the next day. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head over to rula.com/datingintentionally to get started today. After you sign up, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/datingintentionally and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. One question I get asked a lot about my dating journey is how did you manage to go on 150 dates in a year? Part of it is because I was determined to master dating, and the other part of it, well, it's because I am really big into routines. I don't know who I am without my routines. They keep me on track with everything from having relationship check ins with my husband to getting to the gym 4 times a week to making sure I always have delicious meals ready to go in the fridge. And something I recently added to my routine that I'm so excited about is AG1. AG1 is a daily health drink clinically shown to fill in common nutrient gaps. I've been adding a scoop into my protein shakes every day, and I love having a little boost of nutrients that I know I might not be getting otherwise, especially as we head into the holiday season when our schedules get thrown off and routines pretty much go out the window. It's great to have an easy way to support your body and prioritize wellness, even with this season's chaos. I've been using AG1's original flavor, which tastes like pineapple and vanilla, in my daily shake, and it's so good. I love that it helps me cover the bases with what my body needs, and with AG1, it's just so easy to do. If you're looking to boost your wellness routine, I recommend checking out AG1. Head to drinkag1.com/dating to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/dating. Welcome back. So, this one I'm calling Red Flag Fake Out. I, 32 female, was exclusively seeing someone for a few months, 35 male. We had deep conversations really early on and we aligned on core values, had a really great time together, and even met each other's families. He asked me to be his girlfriend about 6 weeks into dating, and I was really excited. I have never felt a connection and alignment like this before. Context. He's very close with his mother and sister. He lives with his sister and her husband and daughter and sees his mother every day since she babysits the granddaughter. Okay. I'm divorced with a 20-month-old daughter. I escaped a very toxic relationship and I'm trying to rebuild my life and find my forever person. When he asked me to dinner to meet his family, they insisted I bring my daughter. I cautiously obliged, although I really didn't want to. My daughter was an angel during dinner, but his mother was far from it. She asked me a lot of questions and told me that she doesn't approve of our relationship. My boyfriend didn't stand up for me at all. He didn't say anything, and I was mortified that I had to make it through the rest of dinner. That sucks. Although I was pretty upset about the situation, he assured me that his mother's opinion didn't matter and that she would come around eventually. For 2 straight days, he spent time convincing me that we should still be together and that he's choosing us and he wanted to make it work. I agreed because I truly had never felt a connection to someone as strongly as I did with him. But just 12 hours later, he called me and told me that we should break up and asked if we could be friends. This all happened a few weeks ago. I'd love to stay friends because I think we share a lot in common, but he hasn't reached out. Should I reach out? Should I try to stay friends? Ultimately, I don't think it would have worked out long term given his mother, but I value and respect him as a person. There's a very small part of me that would love for him to reach out and tell me he made a mistake, but it hurts even more that we had such a strong connection we can't even stay friends. I'm confused and hurt, but would have loved to continue our friendship. Was it wrong of me to pursue a romantic relationship? If we had just stayed friends from the beginning, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. Oof, there's so much here. I am so sorry you went through that. If anyone listening has ever gone through something similar, like, oh my gosh, that is brutal. That is brutal. To answer your question, was it wrong of you to pursue a romantic relationship? No, it wasn't wrong. Dating is exploration, right? You have to jump in to the water, to the pool to see if you like it. Like you have to actually go in. So I think that no, you weren't wrong to pursue a romantic connection. Should you reach out? Should you try to stay friends? No, I don't think you should. And we'll get into that. But I want to hear from you in the comments on this one. Would you break up with someone if their mother or father or parent treated you like this? If I met my partner's family for the first time and their parent straight up said they don't approve of our relationship and my partner didn't stand up for me or say anything to diffuse the situation, I'd probably break up with them that night because I personally wouldn't choose like a partnership that came with that kind of family dynamic. No family's perfect, but that's a sign that that parent would be an issue throughout the entire relationship to me. Let me know if you agree. Like I said, you are choosing the family dynamic when you choose someone, and none of them are perfect, but they're all different. Obviously, we don't know the whole story, but another thing is like, did this guy not give you a heads up that maybe his mom would act in this way? Like, I'm thinking, why did he invite her so early on and think that it would go well? I don't know, but I just feel like if I had a parent who might cause tension or make things uncomfortable around a new partner, I'd approach that very differently. Not a sit down dinner, not bringing my kid. Like that's so stressful. It's like you have your 20-month-old kid and you're meeting the parents for the first time. That is so stressful. Also, like the kid is meeting that. It's a lot. That oof. I would have also next time stand your ground. Be like, no, I'm not bringing my daughter. Yeah, you got to stand your ground on these things. So I'm calling this a red flag fake out because I think it's like when someone's trying so hard to reassure you, like he was like, oh yeah, don't worry, like it'll be fine, it'll be fine. But in the moment, she knew it wasn't fine. Like that dinner moment must have been horrible. She said she felt mortified and he didn't stand up for her. And then of course he breaks up with her. It's like you have to trust your gut on these things. I don't want you to be in a relationship where you ever feel that mortified in front of someone and they don't say anything to you in the moment or don't help you in that situation. It's tough. I mean, some people think that someone being really close to their mom is a red flag. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's way more nuanced. There's a difference between having an adult secure relationship with a parent and having an enmeshed one where you're just way too involved in each other's lives and there are no boundaries. Like you could be close to your parent and they can allow you to be your own person, make your own decisions. You know, there's a world where like I think about my mom at least mature enough to know when to keep her mouth shut about things that I do, that she's like, you know what? My daughter's an adult. She can make her own decisions. Like we have that kind of relationship, but like there's no boundaries in this one from what we know. And I just want to say, I'm so sorry this guy put you in this situation. He sounds a little careless, to be honest, or maybe just naive. Anyway, I don't think friendship is the best option here, especially if he said, let's be friends, and then didn't even reach out or anything. Sometimes people say, let's be friends as a consolation move. They're just trying to soften the blow of the breakup and they don't really, maybe they want to mean it, but they don't actually think it through of what continuing a friendship looks like after a romantic connection. And I just don't think it makes sense in this situation because you want to take time to do no contact and heal before friendship is even on the table. And I don't know. I think it's interesting. Look, we're all different. Me personally, I'm like, I don't know if I would have respect for someone after that kind of situation that I would want to be friends with them, you know? So, but I'm really picky with my friends. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear an update on this one if you're listening to this. I might reach out because I really hope that you at this point know friendship isn't the best move and it's better to just leave this one in the past. And I'm so sorry this happened to you. Okay, I have one more. This one's called The Red Flag That Feels Like Hope. My 35 female and my ex 36 male recently broke up after 2 years together. We kept running into the same issues over and over, things like moving forward, moving in together, and having kids. It caused a lot of anxiety for both of us. He has a lot of past trauma that he hasn't dealt with, family problems, and he had a kid at 20, but he's not involved in the kid's life. He's very avoidant. Now he's saying we should, quote, just be friends. He still wants to hang out, come over for dinner, and talk about the progress we're both making on ourselves. I told him I'm going to start therapy. He says he will too, but he said that before after I asked him to, and he never followed through. He also says being friends might help us rebuild what we've been struggling with and figure out if we want to get back together. Should I even entertain this? When he said he wanted to be friends, it felt like something he said to make himself feel better, but he still wants to spend time together. This one makes me so mad. It makes my blood boil. You know, breakups are really hard, and I get that your ex has gone through things and has trauma, but what he's basically saying is, we're not in a romantic relationship anymore, but I want all the comforts of being in one without calling it that. He wants to hang out, come over for dinner, and talk about life. Okay, yes, that sounds like a nice friendship, but trust me when I say this, you can't enter into that dynamic directly after a breakup and it work out like that. You didn't say when you broke up, but it sounds like you'd both be in a situation if you pursued this kind of friendship where it's even harder to let go and you're prolonging the inevitable. You said up top that you ran into the same issues over and over, not moving forward. Like you couldn't agree on moving in together. You couldn't agree on having kids, and it caused a lot of anxiety for both of you. After 2 years of dating, that kind of thing isn't going to magically get better by just being friends and not having a romantic relationship. It does not work. And I can tell you, I've seen people try to do this in my own life. It doesn't work. And I'm sure there's someone listening right now that's like, well, it worked for me. You're the exception. So just know that. And generally, I don't mind. Like when people want to get back together after spending time apart, like actually not talking, not seeing each other, not really being in each other's lives, that could be a little different. There could be a different outcome. But I think going from romantic relationship, breaking up right into this kind of like platonic friendship where you're still involved in each other's lives and seeing each other often, it gets confusing and messy because the romantic feelings in your history doesn't just get wiped clean once you say the relationship is over. It's all still there and you have to deal with it. The other thing is like, what do you want? Do you want to be friends with him? When you break up with someone, you no longer support them emotionally. And it sounds like he's trying to get some emotional support from you. That's what I'm picking up here. Let me know if you agree in the comments or not, what your take is or read is on the situation. I think this one is interesting. Like there could be a lot of different ways to go. But I'm team no contact. Don't take him up on this offer of friendship. Does it serve you? Do you get anything out of this that you want? I mean, I think it's dangerous. I think it's going to make it harder to move on. I think you'll end up in the same place, navigating the same issues if you try to get back together because you were together for 2 years. Like that's a really solid amount of time to know whether or not it's going to work. So yeah, the main red flag here for me is when he said, being friends might help us rebuild what we've been struggling with and figure out if we want to get back together. That's not how it works, buddy. That's a no for me. Thank you so much for submitting these dating dilemmas. And I just want to let you know you can submit your own in the show notes. There's a link there that says submit a question. I'm answering these on the podcast pretty much every episode and on YouTube. So thank you for sharing them. Thank you for telling us what's going on in your love life and helping other people who are dating feel less alone in what they're dealing with. All right, we're going to take a quick break and then we are going to play a game called Is It a Red Flag If? Okay, be right back. Welcome back. We're playing Is It a Red Flag If? I asked people on Instagram to submit their red flags and we're going to go through and be like yes or no. Okay, we're doing this like rapid fire. Is it a red flag if they have never been in a relationship before? No, it is not. Is it a red flag if they stay in touch with their ex? It depends. That's a big fat depends. It depends if there's kids in the picture or not. It depends on if the breakup was like a really long time ago and they're just friends now. It depends on how long they dated and how recent the breakup was. So it depends. Is it a red flag if they constantly ask who you're texting or what you're doing on your phone? Yes. Is it a red flag if their place is a mess with dishes piled and bathroom not cleaned? Yes. Is it a red flag if they put the blanket on themselves and not you when you're on the couch? No. But let me know if you disagree. I think you could just ask for the blanket. Is it a red flag if they talk about how expensive things are even though they make good money? No, I don't think so, but let me know what you think. Is it a red flag if they think having hard conversations means it's not a natural fit? Yes, that is a red flag. Is it a red flag if they are an open book when it comes to their personal life, but I value privacy? No, you're just different. Is it a red flag if they are dependent on their mom for decisions, small or big? Yes. Is it a red flag if a guy's Tinder profile said age 40 and then showed up later at age 46? He seemed perfectly nice. Yes, I do think that's a red flag. Is it a red flag if they endlessly text you and often double or triple texting if they don't get a response quickly? Yes, that is a red flag. Is it a red flag if they're 10 minutes late every time? No, I don't think it's a red flag. I mean, it's like annoying, but that's something that you can talk through and figure out. I don't know. Is it a red flag if he still lives with his parents at 37? He has a good job. No. Do you know how expensive it is to live here? It's tough. I think the bigger thing is, have they ever lived on their own? If it's like sometimes people live on their own for a bit, they have to go back with their parents for whatever reason, or maybe they're going to help take care of them or something. Who knows? I don't think this is an immediate red flag. Is it a red flag if he calls me manipulative when we fight because I cry? Yes, crying isn't inherently manipulative. What? Is it a red flag if they trade off weeks sharing their dog with their ex-wife, only discuss logistics, 2 years divorce? Oh gosh, I could do a whole episode on this. I am saying yes, that's a red flag. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that though. Is it a red flag if they've been unemployed for a full year, got laid off? No, if they're actively looking for jobs. The job market is really hard right now. And if they're picking up freelance work or like consulting or whatever, and they're actually trying, not a red flag. Is it a red flag if he wants the other person to show signs of attraction after 3 dates and 1 month of daily chatting? Yes, that sounds very controlling. Is it a red flag if they won't say who they voted for in the last election? Yes. Is it a red flag if they don't have any local friends? No, but maybe I think people would disagree with me on that one. It depends. It's hard. It's hard to make friends as an adult, as someone who's moved around a lot. Is it a red flag if they're still working out their relationship needs? No. Okay, last one. Is it a red flag if they carry a tote bag? No. These are ridiculous. Thank you for playing Is It a Red Flag? That was fun. I just thought I would try something different. I mean, look, I think some of these red flags are just completely subjective and it depends on what you care about. But I think I'm more about like giving people grace and the benefit of the doubt on some things. And I think if you learn a piece of information about someone that makes you raise your eyebrow or like have a moment of like, what's that about? Ask questions, be curious, be open. You never know what people are actually going through, especially strangers who you're dating. So when it comes to things like living with parents, they got let go and they still don't have a job, like you never know if people are going through medical things, who knows, or like depression. I don't know. Everyone's going through something. So I wouldn't write people off right away until you do some more investigating on some things. And some things are more obvious, right? So I hope that helps. And I wanted to leave you today with a small dating win. This doesn't have to do with red flags, but I got this message on Instagram that it just really made me smile. I love hearing this kind of thing. And I think this could inspire you as well. In the last few years, I've been pretty frustrated with dating, and in the last few months, I honestly almost gave up altogether. Hinge in particular was getting to me. It's somehow the app I like most, where I actually see people I want to connect with, but I wasn't having any luck. Either I wasn't getting matches because I wasn't scrolling much or consistently, or I was getting very few likes at all. I've been following you for a while, and even though I try to preach having a good attitude towards dating, I just couldn't seem to keep a good mindset about it anymore. Then one day I thought, okay, let me try something different. I took a small piece of dating advice from you. Go on the app every day for at least 15 minutes, send likes, and write intentional messages with those likes. And when I found myself with nothing to say on someone's profile, I realized they're probably not the right match for me anyway. And while it worked, I started getting a lot more matches and people actually engaging with my first messages. I love this so much. And I wanted to share this because I want to highlight this one thing. If you're dating and you're in a rut, trying something different and just experimenting can help shake things up for you and get different results. If you keep trying the same thing over and over and you're just feeling really down about it, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to shake it up, try a different approach, even if it's just as small as being more intentional about how you spend your time on dating apps. Like just making these small tweaks can make a huge difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire dating life. You don't have to delete and re-download the apps every 5 seconds. You can just change your approach a little bit and see what happens. Treat it like an experiment and let it play out. So I hope that inspires you. It inspired me. Lately, I've been talking to a lot of guests on the show. I've been writing a lot of episodes and I'm learning like how much of the advice that we're talking about on the show applies to other parts of life. So even me like reading that, even though I'm not dating, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I should try different things if I'm getting stuck in something. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for trusting me. Don't forget you're doing great. If you know someone who's navigating dating and could use a confidence boost or a fresh perspective, share this episode with them. And if this podcast has helped you in any way, a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple really helps me grow the show and it helps other daters discover it. Once again, I'm Talia. This has been Dating Intentionally, and I'll see you next time.